Hello everyone and welcome to this patch's delayed build video. Due to the monkeys over at ZeniMax Online Studios, also known as Ferrets on Crack, who decided to somehow make this game even worse, make it crash even more and make it shit even more, I had to quit the game for about, I think, a month. It was a month since I last played this game, because as passionate as I am about this game, my mental breaks really fucking hard when I see terrible changes like this done every single week. Even after giving ZeniMax some clues or hints at where and how the game should go, in what direction over at the forums. Brian Wheelchair and his team of orangutans, well trained to make the game absolutely worst decisions in the world, once again decided to nerf the absolute fuck out of Nightblades. This time indirectly, and buff the most overperforming classes in the game. I'm gonna talk about this later, but the main issues with Nightblade dispatch is that block is super unreliable, it's super buggy, super laggy, block cancelling is absolute dog shit, and generally there's so many bugs with how skills react, how skills get animation cancelled, how clunky the entire class is, and how empty the entire class is. But for now, let's skip the salt and let me present to you the best build I've recrafted throughout the past few months, or like the first few months of 2020, when I actually streamed it on Twitch as well. Cause after all, this channel is all about finding the most broken Stamblade build and abusing it like cocaine. Before I start though, I honestly have no clue why you would ever pick Nightblade over any other class in this game this patch. On top of it already being in a huge disadvantage due to the meta being like just not in their favor. This is the worst meta you can play a Nightblade in. On top of that, all of its active skills, all of its passive skills are so far behind every other class, and this is probably the closest to ZeniMax ever deleting a class. And I'm being really honest about this. I'm ranting now. If you still decide to have huge enough balls of steel and an absolute level-headed mind incapable of ever pushing you to throw your monitor out of the fucking 7th floor window, then you can proceed. Then you can still play Nightblade. So yeah, I did some massive changes to my build because I tried so much stuff and recrafted so much. Not only with numbers, but also in non-CP environment, in CP environment, in 1vx, 2vx scenarios, in BGs and stuff. And I honestly believe this is the best you can play this patch, because this build, what I'm about to show you, fixes some of the issues that Nightblades face with its kit because of how empty it is. So what I use this patch is obviously my base damage set, New Moon Acolyte on front bar. Probably never gonna change. This set is magnificent. It's beautiful on a Nightblade. Master's Bow back bar, because it's a 2H bow. There's no other reason to run a bow in this game besides when you want to use Master's Bow. And the set I wear on body is Cyrodiil's Ward to counter all of the ridiculous fucking healing in this game, and the Blood Spawn, which you can, if you manage to survive without Blood Spawn, go for it. Use something like Veledrev or Grundwolf for more sustain, or Balork. If you can survive without it, then go for it. And yeah, I changed up my champion points a little bit to adjust it with the current set I'm running, and that's Cyrodiil's Ward. And I put 45 points in the befall. You honestly don't need 45. 44 is the jump point, but I have only 1 point left in the CP, so I don't know what to do with it. For about Cyrodiil's Ward a little bit. This set is insane for a Nightblade, and I doubt any other class can exploit it as well. Because see, Nightblade especially has such front-loaded burst that you go in, try to establish dominance and finish off your opponent. That happens in maybe, say what, 2, 3 to 4 seconds window, right? After you first attack your opponent. Now guess what? This set applies Major Define on your opponent for the first 3 seconds and is a guaranteed proc out of the first melee hit. It has the best proc condition you could ever imagine. And it's 3 seconds. It's not much. For a Stamina Nightblade it is. For the classes not really. And you also get 2 lines of stamina recovery, which for me translates to 2 lines of weapon damage, because you can, instead of running an infused stamina recovery glyph on your jewelry, you can instead just go for, you know, infused weapon damage. And it's great. I played around with it in noCP. It shreds people who rely on healing. In noCP, because your burst in noCP is gonna be big no matter what, you just attack somebody and they cannot recover. In CP it's not as... in CP the difference between not wearing this set and wearing this set is not as huge, because there's even more healing output there. But it still does its job. Especially when you play 2vx and your ally doesn't have that set, you're doing a god's work. You're pretty much disabling your opponent's healing. Yeah. And what I have on my front bar is, well, those are drain health poisons, which are good for 1vxing, because you get a bigger, you know, burst window. I would probably use just plain double dots there. And what I also changed about my build is that I use a precise Newman Acolyte Maul, and precise is very... and a lot of people are gonna probably question why I even use precise in the first place. I'm gonna come to that in a short moment. So the food I'm using is surprisingly Artyom takeaway broth. I skipped all of the options. I played around with so many foods. I played around with the new school's food and everything, and I liked it, but when I went back to Artyom, I liked it even more. The stats aren't bad on it. It is what it is, you know. And the reason I use precise on my front bar wall is because of this, and that's Shadow. This, I don't want to say it's overtuned, because it's in a good state. This Mundus Stone is in a very good state, and when you have enough crit chance, you can make it work. It does, when you crit, it does, it has double the damage boost of the Warrior Mundus when you crit. And that's why I decided to go with a precise on my maul. So because the Warrior Mundus and to Nirnhoned on your front bar maul give you the same amount of weapon damage. So because Shadow Mundus gives you double the damage boost of a Warrior Mundus, I decided to drop Nirnhoned on my maul and instead go for precise, for my crits to be more consistent and therefore me doing more damage. And also because you have precise and crit chance also makes your heals crit more often, you also get more crit healing. I played around with this build, or like with Shadow and Precise, in both CP and noCP, and I had an absolute blast. Like, what you're gonna see are literal bibles of just pure crit damage. I don't have anything here, but it's very common for your entire combos, entire pages of combos to all crit, because with this build you have around 62% crit chance. Again, all of my enchants are tri-stat with 2 well fitted, and my jewelry is Stem Recovery Arcane, infused weapon damage and infused weapon damage. Why Stem Recovery Arcane? Because I don't run any Magicka Sustain anywhere on my set. I dropped all Mag Sustain. And in open world you're still gonna miss a little bit of max sustain. Just a little bit of that max magic can make you feel way more comfortable in open world. And let's be honest, if you'd put robust there, the damage difference, you will never feel the damage difference. If you put arcane on it, you will feel the sustain difference on your magicka by a ton. So trust, I love this solution. Now let's go to skills, which is always funny because Stamblade has all of its skills. Fucking got it. I didn't have much choice here. I'm running Relentless Focus, Surprise Attack, Rally, Turn Evil. Because of how butchered Tactician got, you can't really rely on having Tactician being your only stun anymore. You can play without Turn Evil. Usually I play with absolutely no stuns in noCP, and it works out fine, besides when people start to block. Turn Evil really isn't needed if you're a good player. The game is harder to play though. You have more burst. If you time that burst right, you don't really need Turn Evil, but for safety measures in open world I do run it because it's also a good defensive stun, even when I play with my mate. And Camouflage Hunter. If you want to run Shadow Mundus, you need to run this, because this gives you 10% crit chance. And not only that, it also gives you mana Berserk. I hate Uncap. You can run Onslaught, it's a better skill there. If you run Onslaught, you will have to put the points out of piercing and put them somewhere else. But it's just Onslaught is just a straight up better skill there. Yeah. On my back bar, it's the same old. Shadow Image, Poison Injection. Poison Injection is questionable. You can run the other morph in open world. It's gonna stop a lot of reses. And that's the preferable morph in open world for me. But in duels and in BGs, people don't res obviously, so Poison Injection is better there. Resolving Vigor, Cloak, which never works anymore, Shuffle, and I use the Werewolf Transformation for the passive, which gives you more stamina recovery, because I feel like nobody has any damage in this game anymore. And I can survive really well without even having a defensive ult back then. If you want a defensive ult, then your only option is Temporal Guard, because ZeniMax decided to kill this skill. So if you feel better with playing with a defensive ult on your back bar, then go for this. I really don't feel like I need this. So my flex spot are obviously these two skills. Not Camouflage Hunter much anymore since I run Shadow. More Turn Evil. You can, instead of Turn Evil, you can run a lot of other skills. For example, you can either put your Execute there. And by the way, always use Executioner, because this skill literally does more damage in every single scenario in comparison to Killer's Blade. Or you can put Leeching Strikes there. I do this when I play in noCP, because Leeching Strikes in noCP are God's gift. In noCP I tend to run Reduce Cost glyphs to make me roll more often, and when you use Reduce Cost glyphs you don't have much recovery, so when you run out of stamina it's gonna be very hard to get your stamina back up. Leeching Strikes fixes this because it just gives you so much recovery, and honestly the healing isn't bad either on it, and it also gives you more max mag on your front bar. I don't know why we will want that, but that's also a bonus. You can also run Reaper's Mark. It's an annoying skill to apply. It's very empty, but you can, if you want more reliable damage, I guess. But my second most favorite, or third most favorite after Leeching Strikes and after after execute would be ambush. Because it's a gap closer in open world against people who don't know how to play, gap closers still work well. Minor vulnerability, especially in CP, is absolutely overtuned. It boosts your damage by so much. It boosts your damage by almost double in comparison to minor berserk. And outside of that, there's no other options. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna play this patch. Probably not. I cannot seem to enjoy the game anymore, and Stamblade is in just such a bad position. I'm definitely gonna make some more videos because I've got a lot of clips during Mid-Year Mayhem and before and after. So yeah, the channel isn't gonna be dying because I'm still gonna post content. I just don't know how often, because the game is honestly in the worst state it's ever been for PvPers. And people are quitting left and right. None of my friends really play the game anymore either. So on this depressing note, I wanna end the video. And yeah, I hope you can enjoy the game more than I do. So yeah, enjoy and see ya.